How y'all are? Today I'm going to show youngsters and rookies and whoever don't know how to change their oil, how to figure it out and how to do it. If you're going to change your oil at home, you need some tools and you need a catch pan. Don't get a bucket, don't get a kitty litter box. You need one of these. This right here holds 16 quarts. You should be able to get at least 2 oil changes to fit in there, minimum. I drive a V8 and I can probably get 3, I believe. I can't remember. Every vehicle's got an oil pan, unless it's an electric vehicle. You need to know what socket size and you need a ratchet. The size of the bolt that you take out to drain the oil pan. I already know my size. As you can see, I've created a homemade ramp. This SUV is up off the ground enough for me to get under it, but it's hard to get there with that step rail there in the way. Be sure and make sure that if you're under your vehicle to apply your emergency brake. Sometimes it'll be in the center console, but this one's on the floor. Always open my oil cap so it has plenty of air as it's draining out. Here we go. For you rookies that never done this before, pay attention to where your motor is. Even if you don't recognize motors from a transmission or a chunk of metal, whatever, you're always going to have a pan bowl looking shape on pretty much the bottom of every motor. And it'll have a nut there or a bolt. That's where you drain your oil. But I've seen and heard of people discovering their transmission pan, not knowing what they're looking at, and finding the bolt on it and accidentally draining out the transmission fluid instead of their oil. So just keep that in mind. It's always right behind your motor. On a little car, it'll be a sideways motor and your transmission pan will sort of be under the hood with the oil pan or the motor. Just remember to always keep that in mind. All right, I think I know what my size is, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on. I got the right size. That's a 13 millimeter. But when you're checking your size, that one might turn it, but see how it has play in it? Don't ever use the wrong size or the closest size. Use the right size, and you won't strip out your oil pan bolt. Clarify my point about the oil pan and the transmission pan and how to recognize it. I'll take you under a Chevrolet, and I'll take you under a Ford Ranger. There's an old Chevy truck. See, you got an oil pan there, and that one's an easy giveaway because see, there's your oil filter. You'll be looking for that too on your car, your truck, your bus, whatever you're driving. But then look here, here's another pan. See that bolt there? That's the transmission fluid drain. It's pretty much the same idea as the oil pan, but you don't want to make the mistake, take that off. Motor, transmission, it's always 2 separate pans. Now here's a Ford Ranger. It's gonna be a little tighter getting under here because it rides lower. Ooh, and it's a nasty one. This is a standard, so I believe, yeah, that's my oil pan. This one doesn't have a transmission pan. It's a standard. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. See, there's an oil filter too. You're going to be looking for that on your oil change. It's going to get on you. If you don't like it on you, get some latex gloves or something. I don't mind it getting on my tools. It kind of helps them. When that's done draining, you want to put your bolt back in and locate your oil filter. Mine is away from the oil pan on the sort of on the front of the motor. It shouldn't be so tight that you can't get it off with your hand. If you've ever taken your vehicle to the oil change shop, they always put it on too tight. When you take it off, you always make sure your rubber stayed on the filter as well. What kind of oil do I put in my vehicle? You can find that information in your manual. A lot of times it'll be right on the cap. This one needs 5W20. That's what I got. Always go and buy your oil at Walmart. That's the cheapest place you can get it. I don't ever see O'Reilly's, AutoZone, or any other place selling motor oil cheaper than Walmart's. This vehicle takes right at 7 quarts, not quite. If you can't find what you need in your manual or your on your oil cap, Google will tell you. You just have to specifically tell what size motor, and a lot of times it's on top of your intake manifold no matter what you drive. This is a 5.4 liter. Necessity. You never want to pour this into this. I mean, it can be done, but things will go a lot smoother if you got a short, wide mouth funnel, and make sure it's clean. When you open these and take the lid off, you always got that seal on there, and if you're going to have oil left over, if you want to know a tip to know in advance, always cut it away from the pour side, because these like to get stuck on the edges. And if you got like a little flap that you can't get off, sometimes it interferes with how well you can pour it out. We don't really need to worry about it on this one because this entire jug is going into my motor. My second one will be a partial, so I'll really pay attention to how I take that seal off of that one. See, I make sure that seal is not on the pour side. You can actually turn this over and pour it the other way. They say that's the correct way to pour it. I'm just not in the habit of doing it. That 5.4 liter Triton will always drink up a whole one of these 5-quart jugs, and then some. It's always best to have these big jugs and not the small quart, because when I do it like that, I have leftovers. And this motor burns oil. Sometimes I have to add oil before I'm due for an oil change. I got 6 quarts of oil in there. Let's see what the dipstick says. A lot of times when you got cleaner oil in there, it's harder to tell on your dipstick where it's at. If the dang thing quits shaking, I can't film this. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but it's right above the line, and it stops right about where that hole is. So that's saying I got too much. A lot of times I'll take it for a spin so that I can work any air out of it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm sure that oil level will go down. I'm still on a ramp. I got it backwards. It's easier to back onto that than it is to climb onto that. So what I'll do is I'll pull it forward after removing my e-brake and moving my oil mat. Now let's take this thing for a little spin. Not very far, just maybe a half a mile. Now look at it. It went down from that top dot down to about the middle. That was the air in the filter and the wherever. We good to go now. And obviously you want to make sure that you tighten down your oil pan bolt tight and it's not leaking. You want to make sure you remember to put your cap back on there. For the record, that was 6.5 quarts. Google says 6. There you have it. There's my contribution to society. I thank y'all for watching. Have a good one.